Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the No Cell Wrestling channel and No Cell Wrestling podcast, episode 23, coming to you on the 26th of August, 2026. With me, as always, is my co-host, Alan the Weasel Heenan. I am Tequila the Body Ventura. Common Rebel are still around. They're just really busy at work, so hopefully we'll have one of them back when we can find time to get him on, because they're both working very hard. Alan, so you're the Weasel now.
I'm the Weasel now. No, because I spent all my money on holiday last week, so my money's gone. So I'm now the Weasel.
So I expect lots of reference about humanoids and ham and eggers and all that kind of stuff then.
Oh yeah, nickel and dimers. Actually, that's the rest head. Yeah, ham and eggers.
Heenan was a very, very good manager. There's always an argument that maybe we should do a show sometime about the best manager. I think. Ooh. I mean, he's up there.
He's definitely up there. I mean, we grew up at the time with, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Jimmy the Mouth the South Heart, Dr. Star Slick, Mr. Fuji.
Mr. Fuji. Yeah, the manager role they're virtually on. You've got Heyman, and that's about what you got.
Yeah, and he hasn't been seen for weeks.
No.
Not since Brock's match at SummerSlam.
I don't know why they stopped. I don't know why, because obviously it was easy, because the guys who couldn't talk very well, you gave them a manager to make up for the fact they couldn't talk. And nowadays they haven't got anyone like that. So if you can't cut a promo, and let's be honest, lots of them can't, you just kind of fed to the wolves. Look at something like Stephanie Vaquer, with all due respect to her. All right, she's a talented wrestler, but every time she picks up a microphone, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, it's that Peruvian accent. It's
not her fault, but
no,
this is why she needs a manager. So does someone like Io Sky, your favorite. She needs a bloody Asuka needed a manager.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they used to be there for, to help cover up one of these guys' weaknesses. Well, maybe we'll have to do a show on the managers, but let me quickly say, for me, it's got to be Heyman or Heenan, and a little shout out to Jim Cornette.
Of course, Jimmy Cornette. Yeah, he's a great manager. Jim Cornette running around with his tennis racket. It was great.
Great heel manager, especially tag teams Midnight Express. Then he had a run in the WWF with Yokozuna and Owen Hart and the Bulldog. Camp Cornette. You remember Camp Cornette?
I do remember Camp Cornette.
And Vader. He managed Vader as well.
Yes, he did. Yeah, because Harley Race had become very ill at the time, hadn't he? He didn't come along with Vader from WCW.
No. Yeah. Harley Race, yeah.
Harley Race was in ill health, but obviously I think he passed away not long after. Made a debut.
I love the Camp Cornette. What a combination! Vader, the British Bulldog, and Owen Hart. Bloody hell, we got every base covered there. Technician, power, and a monster character. What a great stable they were.
Great stable. I don't think they were given enough props. Vader should have been a world champion at that point.
That was Shawn Michaels playing.
Yes, I know.
Bullshit. Yeah, he was meant to win it at SummerSlam. There we are.
Yep, Vader should have been a world champion, but no, thanks to Shawn, Vader was muted.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to do a manager show, but yeah, that's mine and Alan's very quick shortlist. If you've got your own, we realise that those managers are, like I say, you're not sport for choice anymore. Like what managers are there today? Heenan,
Little Yachty.
Little Yachty. That's an option, is it? Little Yachty is an option. Wow.
Yeah. He's the only manager I know in current WWE.
I'd say Heyman, although he's kind of stepped away at the minute. Heyman, obviously, the vision stuff didn't work out, although that wasn't Heyman's fault. Yeah. That was because everyone got injured. And in AEW, they've got, what is it, Don Callis? Is that what his name? Don Callis family?
Don Callis, the Callis family, yeah.
So he's the closest thing, I suppose, you've got to a manager. I remember Don Callis. Do you remember him when he was the Jackal in the Truth Commission?
Yes, I do.
Back in the 90s, WWF?
Back in the 90s, yeah.
Always was a good promo, to be fair to him. But Kurgan, everyone. Remember Kurgan?
The Kurgan, yeah.
The Kurgan, yeah. He was in the film 300 as well.
And Sherlock Holmes.
Was he in Sherlock Holmes, is he?
Yes, he was. He was in Sherlock Holmes as well.
Wow.
Using his actual French accent as well. He's actually
really?
French.
He actually had a speaking part in 300. He was just growled and then died, I think.
Yeah. But in Sherlock Holmes, he had some lines.
Wow. Okay.
Not many, but he had some lines.
Big up to Kurgan. Right then, I guess we'll talk about today's pro wrestling. Me and Alan could sit and talk about old time pro wrestling for hours. But it's 2026, despite the wrestling boom. It's not been the best year. Yeah, last year was not the best year. This year, I think, it's followed suit. I'm not that invested right now. Part of that is because you've got a horrible champion on Raw, and everything that surrounds him, which is so much of the show, I can't stand. So for me, it's an automatic kind of turn off. I'm trying to find some things I'm interested in, but there's not much on Raw for me because it's so dominated by the bum line. Everything's dominated by that storyline, and most of it's dominated by that storyline. And anyone who kind of becomes anywhere near that storyline for me gets brought down with it. I am interested in Bron Breakker versus Obafemi. I know Obafemi's going to beat him. I don't think he should, but I know that he will.
Yeah, he will.
I don't think Bron Breakker can take another loss. I don't think he should I don't think he should lose another feud, but I think he's going to. So we'll have to see if he can recover from it. Obafemi, we know, is going straight to the top. They've already decided that. Whether or not I like it is irrelevant. That's already been decided. So the rocket ship's on him. Right. So let's go to SmackDown first. We'll do it in chronological order. The SmackDown for me, they had a world title match. You don't get that many world title matches, especially big kind of star versus star world title matches that often. So when you do get them on free TV, it's a kind of a luxury. I can't remember. I mean, when Roman Reigns just doesn't wrestle on Raw on a weekly show anyway, because he's Roman Reigns, he hasn't got to do anything.
He's going to in a few weeks because he has to face the winner of the AAA tournament.
I think that's the first time he's wrestled on a weekly show since the Netflix special when he beat Solo Sikoa. So that's 2 years, or whatever it is, year and a half.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're world champion, ladies and gentlemen. So on SmackDown, let's go through the matches quickly, and then we'll talk about if there's anything else that stood out for us. So I've got the results in front of me. So, God, some of these matches. Right, so Tama Tonga and Talatonga ended up winning the tag belt. If anybody cares. So the only thing I'm intrigued in is that they've got Haku.
Oh, that's the previous week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the previous week. Last week, they defended the titles against the former champions, Damian Priest and R-Truth.
Right, it doesn't say who the champions are. So they won it the week before, so they were defending it. Okay.
They won they won the week before in a triple threat against the AAA tag team champions as well, the Viking Raiders. I just want to point out at this point: are any any of the AAA roster champions? Because you've got Dominic Mysterio, who's on Raw, he's the mega champion. You got Ray Phoenix on SmackDown, who's holding some sort of title there. You got the Viking Raiders, who are also WWE guys, who've got the tag team championship. What other titles are there that's being held on AAA? There must be a women's title, surely.
I think what you're seeing, Alan, you're seeing the fact is they don't particularly value many of the actual Mexican wrestlers themselves. They're more or less treating it almost like they are NXT. It's become almost a feeder system where they're going to send people who they're not using, like Ray Phoenix, for example, like even Dominic Mysterio, not done much this year, but he's appeared on that stuff regularly. Obviously, we know that Kaiser went over there and became a big star under the mask. So that's probably how they're going to do it. They're going to probably send guys who they can't think of anything to do with currently, and just send them over there, and then kind of like they did with Chad Gable, and then hopefully they heat up a bit like Chad Gable did, and then they brought Chad Gable back, and he's finally getting a kind of a push. But that's based mainly on his work in AAA. So that's what they're going to use it for. So I don't think they care about the actual homegrown guys who are there. They're going to turn it into a feeder ground. I mean, they already are. They've got Undertaker's booking it, Alan. They've already got their own guys booking it. Undertaker's the head booker for AAA. Undertaker is. If people didn't know that. So
there you
go. So okay, so that shows how much attention that I do pay to the tag team titles, because I knew that they lost the belts, but I thought they lost the belts last week. So they actually lost the belts 2 weeks ago, but then they defended it last week on SmackDown again. They can't make me care, really. When you've got R-Truth involved in anything, I can't take it seriously. He's a funny dude, but I can't. That's what I mean. He's a funny dude, but when he does, when he shouldn't be anywhere near title matches because he's a comedy character. So I can't take it seriously.
True. I mean, there's one redeeming feature of this match, and that's the fact that Haku's on TV again.
Mm-hmm.
Love Haku.
Haku, in case people don't know, regarded as one of the like real life tough guys. So people like didn't screw around with him like backstage. He was known as like this tough dude who used to, literally be feared. I think even like the story was that even like Andre the Giant was scared of him, which is kind of like, Andre wasn't scared of anyone, but if Haku told him to do something, Andre would like, this was the story. Andre would just like sit down. So if you've got a 7'4" dude or whatever Andre was scared of you, that says a lot. So apparently, and I think the weird thing is this reputation only came out after his wrestling career kind of ended, because it's kind of like once as he was around, he was only really like a mid carder, part of the Heenan family. Never really won any titles, but obviously then this hard man reputation came out kind of after he retired, and it's just like now he's almost got an aura about him that he never had when he was an active wrestler. It's very weird, Alan.
Yeah, it's very strange.
But yeah, so Haku's with his sons, so that's interesting. It does make them a bit more interesting. I mean, I don't think it's going to kind of save them. I do think that they're 12 months from now, do I think they're still going to be employed? Probably not, if I'm honest. But it gives them a chance to maybe do something. But it's interesting they put the tag belts on them. One thing, Alan, have you seen a bigger fall from grace in the last, let's say, 18 months to 2 years than Damian Priest? This dude was the world champion. The same title Roman Reigns holds, right? Right now.
That's right.
He was the world champion for 6 months. He wasn't the world champion for a week. He had it for 6 months. He
had a long reign, and he won it at WrestleMania. Okay, it was a Money in the Bank cash-in thing, but he still won it at WrestleMania.
So why the fall from grace, and what is he lacking? Why did he not take? Why has he dropped off?
Well, if rumors are going, there's rumors swirling that his contract status is kind of coming up, and it's not going to be renewed, and he's going to be released very, very soon, along with a couple of other people.
I'll be surprised.
Apparently Gargano's gone.
No, that one's
because someone noticed he'd taken off WWE from his social media profile, so okay, he's kind of gone, which kind of leaves Candice LeRae in a kind of a weird situation, because without Johnny Gargano, what does she do?
Oh no, if one goes, they'll both go 100%.
Yeah, has to. Who else? There was someone else. I know Ilya Dragunov was released this week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, I think.
I did see another name in there. Damian Priest and someone else who I can't even think who it was, but yeah, expect some chops coming soon in the next few weeks. And Damian Priest is going to be one of them.
I think he's a heel, not a babyface.
He works better as a heel.
Yeah, I think because of his size, in his moveset, and his demeanor, I think he's a heel, and I do think that unless Alan's right and he is on the chopping block, but I will be surprised, because I don't know if they're ready to give up on him. He certainly has fallen away, 100%. But I don't know if they're ready to give up on him, but maybe Alan's right. If he does stick around, though, I do think he's going to turn heel on R-Truth any day. I mean, I can't.
Yeah, the reaction was there after the match was lost.
Yeah.
You could see he was pondering something and then sort of kind of shrugged it off and just, hugged R-Truth and took it on the chin, I guess.
Yeah, so I think there's a heel turn. I mean, you got to remember, Punk's a world champion still. We'll get to that. He needs some heel challenges. Could they reheat Damian Priest to make him a viable challenger? It's going to take some work, but that's a match I've not seen. I know that Punk has spoken highly about Damian Priest in interviews. He was one of the people he wanted to wrestle when he came back. I remember him doing promos about it in interviews. So he probably wouldn't mind that kind of program, but if they were to go that direction, they've got to do Damian Priest. He needs to get some wins off somebody. I don't mean he needs to squash R-Truth, because that won't prove anything. He needs to get a couple of proper wins if they want to think about trying to push him back up the top. But heel turn, Alan, for me, heel turn is only salvation. He can't. It's only salvation for him. Okay, so right, so they failed to win the tag belts back. Blake Monroe.
Made a debut, and I use that term loosely.
Yep, she's done Ethel since her promo started playing after WrestleMania. So for the last 6 or 7 months, they're stalling with her, and I guess that they're trying to make that her character now. She's kind of like, she doesn't want to get in the ring. Weird, considering that she's regarded as one of the better wrestlers they've actually got on the roster, which is very interesting. But her match with Julia ends in a no contest. So, have you seen her work in AEW when she was known as Mariah May?
No.
No. I saw some of her work, and she is good. I wouldn't say that she's the best. I think maybe she's slightly overrated, but I think she's a good worker. She does have a promo. She's an English lady. She's got a promo and a character. She's not like I mean. There's very few amazing promos in the women's division anyway. I wouldn't say she's an amazing promo, but she's good enough to where she can. You won't noticeably think, "Oh my god, she's dreadful," right? This is not a Stephanie Vaquer or an Io Sky, right? She can cut a promo, so she's got everything. The look, the look's a bit bland to me, but that's a Nick preference thing, right? That's me preferring brunettes, for example, right? So that stuff I'm not that into, but she's considered by a lot of guys to be an attractive woman, so she's got that going for her as well. So why are they kind of not? They haven't called the Jets in her, but why are they stalling? Why wait 7 months, Alan? What is it? What are they waiting for? Then she's still, and now she's incorporated into that character. But why didn't they just debut her like everybody else after WrestleMania when they called her up?
I don't know whether they want to feed her to Rhea Ripley, maybe. But
Rhea Ripley.
I don't know why this.
She get a title shot. She's got to win a bloody match, didn't she? Get a title shot. Well, no, that's not true because Baron Corbin didn't have to.
No, he just turned up and got a US title match.
US champion. He won the US title.
Style, yeah.
He won the US title, Alan. He didn't. He won the US title in his first match. He didn't. At least on television, on house shows, he probably had some matches. But storyline wise, I don't mind Trick Williams losing, but why not have Baron Corbin win a couple of matches on the way to SummerSlam? Do something. Do something that explains to me how he actually earned the title shot. I don't know.
Yeah, probably should have. Baron Corbin probably should have got some wins, but it's always a problem when you rocket someone to a title match because you're thinking, well, now you've kind of cut their win streak down. Because as soon as they win that championship, they've got maybe 2, 3, 4 wins, maybe, and then I sit there and they're going to lose.
Yeah. We know that wins and losses don't really matter, and I'm not saying that he had to go and win 30 matches, but I mean at least do something to get it into people's mind that this guy deserves the match. Because then whenever somebody comes out cutting a promo saying I deserve a title match, and then the other person refuses to give him a title match, it's none of it. It doesn't add up. Why is it that sometimes somebody can come in, not win a match, and get a title shot, but other times somebody wants a title shot and is denied a title shot because they're not a top contender? It's so inconsistent. There's no consistency.
Well, so this subject actually segues nicely into a segment actually on SmackDown, where Trick Williams came out with Little Yachty and said, I want my US title back. I want a title match. Baron Corbin comes out, minus the title, by the way. He doesn't have the title on him. Apparently, he said the title's gone for a haircut.
Oh, to get rid of it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to probably put the title back to where it was. But he come out on a motorcycle. Bit of a Undertaker vibe going there. Basically, he was saying to Trick Williams, "You don't deserve a title match. I beat you at SummerSlam. You had a rematch like last week or the week before. I beat you then. That's it. We're done."
And the thing is that's exactly the truth. That's exactly the way it should be.
Little Yachty attacked Baron Corbin with the old cane he carries around with him, or the kendo stick even. To which Baron Corbin responded with, "Okay, well we'll try it this way. I want to face Little Yachty." And all Little Yachty has to do is survive 5 minutes.
He's that he's gonna survive it, don't you?
Yeah, I know, and I am cringing already.
I don't think this is going to be a long title reign for Mr. Corbin. I do think he probably drops it right back to him, unless they are going to do the Money in the Bank for Trick Williams, which I have heard that rumor is he's certainly one of the favourites being considered for the Money in the Bank this year. So If so, then he probably doesn't need the title as well. So it could be one or the other. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, somebody comes out asking for a title match. It's just like, well, no, you don't need to ask. You can just get it. Baron Corbin didn't do anything to get a title match.
So. Exactly. It's the old John Cena thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's little things. I know you might think, oh, don't nitpick. Well, for me to suspend my disbelief, right? I need these are the little details sometimes matter. Because every time these details are not addressed, every little plot hole that you feel, it makes it harder and harder to suspend my disbelief. You know, I'm already struggling to understand why Rhea Ripley wasn't just stripped of the belt. It makes no sense. Liv Morgan hasn't defended the title in 5 months. She didn't defend the title till SummerSlam. That makes no sense. How that's allowed. Rhea Ripley, when somebody's injured, they vacate the title, except for some reason just this one occurrence where they are letting her. They're not stripping her. And now the goddamn interim champion Chelsea Green is also injured, and they're giving her extra time. What?
Yeah.
Inconsistencies.
I suspect the rules as they go along, don't they?
Well, Seth Rollins last year, he vacated the title. Why didn't they make Seth Rollins interim champion? No, there's no answer because none of it makes sense. It's inconsistent. There's no consistency, guys. So stuff like that. Okay. Lash Legend defeated Tiffany Stratton. Bet you really enjoyed that match, Al.
Yeah, that was a great one. It was so good that I was just flushing the chain as I heard the pinfall.
Why is Tiffany Stratton jobbing every week now?
I think it's another experiment that's over.
Another person who should turn heel. That character is not a babyface character.
Yeah, she's not a babyface. She's the the snobby little blonde brat character.
Yep.
You know, Daddy buys me this, Daddy buys me that. That's the character she should play.
100%.
Play that character, Tiffany, and I'll follow you.
I didn't care for the majority of these matches. I think Lash Legend is way too green to be anywhere near on the weekly show. Tiffany Stratton is okay in the ring. I don't think she's the worst thing I've ever seen in the ring. But I think, as Alan said, she's completely miscast in her role. Yes. She's 100%. She should be a heel. She should be a snotty, whiny heel. That's exactly daddy's girl, whiny, snotty heel. Paris Hilton type, which is what she was that's what she's kind of going for anyway. So just fully embrace the Paris Hilton spoiled rich girl stuff, like Alexa Bliss did a couple of years ago. She'll do that role pretty well because she's quite unlikable, I find. So just let her naturally be that. Let her play into that stuff, and maybe she'll have something. But as a babyface, she's 100% miscast. And the weird thing is that she was a heel in NXT. And then she came up to the roster, was a heel for a couple of months, and then she turned babyface. She's been a babyface ever since. For 75% of her time. Yeah, ever since. She's been a babyface. She's just like, I don't get it. Miscast. Right. Before we talk about the main event, which is the only thing that I really cared about on the show, anything else you want to talk about SmackDown before we talk about the big match?
No, not really. Not really. As I said, it was a really, really short show. So yeah, we can move on to the main event.
Right. So the main event, Kevin Owens, in his second match back, but at least he actually did win a match to become the number one contender, unlike Corbin. He did actually win a match that they gave him this. In Kevin Owens' yearly title match, because Kevin Owens is the new Kane, he always gets a title match and he always loses, just like Kane did. Kevin Owens, yet again, I don't know what the record is, Alan. I think somebody said that Kevin Owens has had 13 title matches since he was last champion. So when he last held the belt, it was during his feud with Jericho. He lost it to Bill Goldberg, I think 2017 or something. I think it was, off the top of my head.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah. So I think what I read was Kevin Owens, since he's lost the title, this is his 13th title shot on like pay-per-view or on like television anyway. This is his 13th title shot for the world title. And he's lost all 13.
Yeah, he's Kane. He's the new Kane.
Yeah. I didn't actually expect him to win. I did think there was a small chance they might do the hometown thing and give him a short reign, where Punk would probably win it back. I thought there was a small chance of that because it was his hometown. But no, it was quite predictable. I did think Sammy would get involved. It does look like they're going to have another Sami Zayn Kevin Owens feud. These guys, they always have good matches. I'm not saying I don't enjoy them. And it is interesting to see the roles reversed a little bit. Kevin Owens is normally the heel, Zayn's normally the face in their feuds. This time it's going to be the other way around. So that will make it a little bit unique. So maybe that's why they feel they can run it again. But again, it is probably overdone. But it looks like that is the direction Owens is going in. So I thought it was a good match. I think that the promos between them has been decent. They've added some real life. It's not all true, by the way. It's one of those. There's elements of shoot and work and stuff like that. Apparently, they don't actually hate each other as much as the storyline says.
No,
they're not best friends or anything, but they actually don't hate each other that much. So, did you enjoy the match, Al? What did you think of the match?
I thought it was a good match. Given what we were subjected to for the other three matches, because I actually totaled it all up. Sorry, the other two matches, because the other one with Julia didn't count.
Yeah.
But we had 37 minutes of wrestling on this show.
And that's a 2.5 hour show.
Yeah, and half of that was the main event. The main event went for nearly 19 minutes.
Yeah, it was a one match show. A rare world title match. You don't normally get.
It was good. It was really good. Punk treated it like a pay per view. He came out wearing a hockey mask, and he had his he had one of his logos on the reverse of that, and he came out in like new attire, like fresh for a pay per view. So yeah, he treated it like a big money match, which I thought was nice and respectful of him. They told a good story in the ring. Kevin Owens had pretty much he was dominating most of the match. The clotheslines he was hitting, amazing. He was hitting splashes, he was hitting swantons, as I said, clotheslines. Punk didn't get much offense in there. And if there's any negative in there, I don't like the way Owens sold the GTS.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that is a bit of a half-assed sell, wasn't it?
Yeah, he didn't sell it very well.
How do you feel about the fact that it looks like this is a one and done? Because it looked like that they were setting up for an extended feud over the belt. Punk and Cody are going to have their match, and I think it could be WrestleMania next year. They will come back to that. There's more to that story.
Oh, no doubt.
But they're both going off in their own directions momentarily, anyway.
Yeah.
So I thought that Punk needed a feud in the meantime. So I thought Owens Punk feud was going to be a couple of matches.
Well, the worrying thing was
like one match.
Yeah, the worrying thing was before the match took place, there was a segment where Punk was backstage having his interview with Kathy Kelly. And Randy Orton turns up.
And Orton came. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And basically says, heads up, after I'm done with Cody, I'm coming for you. So we could see a Punk Randy Orton match.
I think
in the future.
I think we're going to get it. I think there's a couple of routes they could go. They could do a triple threat, which would be a big match because you've got Randy Orton, obviously. Randy Orton, Punk. They haven't wrestled since. Can't remember what the WrestleMania was. It's when Punk went for his flying clothes and springboard clothesline, and Orton caught him in an arcade. And it was the same year Punk 2011. It was the same year Punk. He's
part of the Nexus, wasn't he?
Yeah. It literally was like 3 months before the pipe.
That's right. 2011. So we're looking at 15 years ago.
Yeah. And they would have a good match because Orton and Punk have both slowed down because that's age for you, but they've both increased their Orton especially has become a lot better at psychology. He's not as fast as he used to be because that's age. Neither's Punk, but they're both good storytellers like Cody is. They've both got good psychology. So Punk Orton will be a very good match. I think we're looking at a triple threat. I don't know when. It could be Survivor Series. I do think that we're looking at probably a triple threat. Orton, Punk, and Cody. Oh
god, I said a worrying thing come to mind.
What's that?
And it's basically what you said about if Trick Williams doesn't beat Baron Corbin, he'll be going for Money in the Bank, and he's a good contender to win it. Imagine he wins Money in the Bank. They have Orton versus Punk at the same event, whoever wins that match, Trick Williams comes and catches out instantly and wins.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trick Williams, kind of like Obafemi, I think he's their chosen one on SmackDown for whatever reason. He's their chosen one, so yeah, I think I think that he will be probably a world champion. But if he does that, that's a heel move, so they're going to put him back heel. If he cashes in on Punk or Cody, it's going to be classed as a heel move. If he cashes in on Orton, I guess that's a babyface thing to do.
Yeah,
it depends who the cash-in's on. Yeah. I don't know how long Punk's going to hold the belt for. I don't think he's going to hold it till WrestleMania. I think that would be too long. I would expect him to have it at least till Survivor Series, but I could easily see him dropping it to Orton at Survivor Series, or maybe, like you say, there could be a cash in. I do think Orton's going to be the champion. I think that they've been kind of planning that for a while. Orton's meant to be Orton kind of the number one heel, really. Because there isn't that many other heels on SmackDown. They're all baby faces. You got Kevin Owens now, who's come as a baby face. Punk's a baby face. Cody's a baby face. Sami Zayn's a heel, granted, but they're never going to give Sami Zayn the tops. You've already seen that his world title reign was 9 days. They're never going to go all the way with Sami Zayn as a heel. But Orton's different. Orton, they treat Orton differently. So if they want a proper heel to have the belt, the only option really right now is Randy Orton. If they want to have a heel champion, I mean, I don't see how there's any other options, because there's too many. Yeah. We've said it before, Al. The babyface heel is lopsided with baby faces. There is such a lack of good heels. So
yeah, that's true.
It's difficult to find any. So Punk did retain because Sami Zayn interfered. Originally, he came out to try and kind of help Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens saw him do it and then refused to whack him with the title. And then Sami hit him with the belt instead. And then that Punk didn't mind taking advantage. I'm not sure if they're playing it, the fact that Punk didn't know, but he didn't roll. He wasn't outside of the ring like he was when Orton attacked Cody. So I don't know. True. I kind of get the feeling he kind of did see it. So maybe they might play into that. But I mean, because obviously Cody's his friend. Right, storyline wise, Punk and Cody are still meant to be friends, so I guess it'd be a bit different. But I guess Punk and Owens don't like each other, so maybe Punk wouldn't give a shit if he saw Owens getting hit by Sami Zayn. I doubt he'd care, because they're not friends. Whereas he probably would have cared if Cody, this is what I'm assuming is going to be. So we'll have to see. Good match. I'm happy Punk's still the champion, not because I dislike Kevin Owens, but they need to rebuild Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens, unfortunately, has got, as I just said to Al before, he's got what is known as the Lex Luger syndrome, right? So what's the Lex Luger syndrome? It's a wrestler who never wins the big match. It's a wrestler who gets opportunity after opportunity and never wins and never wins and never wins and never wins. So much so that it almost ends up defining his character. Lex Luger was known for being that. In WCW in the late 80s, he had shot after shot against Ric Flair, could never beat him. Or always won by DQ, could never get the job done. He goes to the WWE. He did win the world title after Flair left as a heel, and he had a short reign when Harley Race was his manager, granted. But then he goes to the WWE. Obviously, we have the Lex Express stuff. And what does he do? He doesn't beat Yokozuna. He chokes again. He loses on 2 occasions. He loses to Yokozuna twice. At WrestleMania, everyone thought, oh, well, now Luger's going to win it. And he ends up, the stuff with Mr. Perfect, he ends up getting DQ'd. So Luger carried this choke artist stigma his whole career. And even in WCW, when he went back and he fought Hogan on the NWO, even when he won the world title, he lost it 5 days later. He won the world title from Hogan on Nitro. I remember seeing it live, Al, maybe even at your house. He won the title from Hogan.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he dropped it to him 5 days later. So Luger's always had this stigma about him that he can't get the job done. And Kevin Owens, unfortunately, I feel has that stigma as well. He can't win the big match. And the more he loses, the more that stigma grows. So that's a part of his character now, Alan. He always chokes on the big occasions. Don't know how people feel about that. But
sounds like LA Knight as well.
LA Knight has a bit of that about him as well. And it's only going to get worse as after Reigns spears him, probably at Money in the Bank or whenever they have their match, after Reigns spears him, which he will, and beats him, which he will. LA Knight's got that about him as well. But there we are. Okay, so that's SmackDown. On to Monday Night Raw. On August the 24th.
Yeah.
Did you watch this live, Al, or did you watch?
I watched half of it live because it was the Tuesday it was my first day back to work, and I was struggling to sleep because I basically had 2 weeks off. So I've been staying up like till 1, 2 in the morning. So I needed something to pretty much bore me to sleep. I thought, you know what, I'll put Raw on.
Well, that'll do the job.
Yeah, Kevin put up in the chat that Raw was started earlier. I thought, okay, so I put it on. I missed maybe the first few minutes, but who cares? But yeah, I watched a lot of it live. I think the last thing I saw on the live broadcast was G-Von getting Bigfoot and pinned. So that's always good.
Yeah, how do you feel about their treating Big Cass? I mean, he's been back a couple of weeks. He is a heel. He is not with Enzo, so they have not done what people thought. People thought he was coming back as the tag team. That looks like it's not true. Looks like he's just back as a heel, as a singles heel. Interesting that they're starting him off with Evans, because I thought Evans was one of their little chosen ones. So to have Big Cass kind of dominate him,
he's
interesting.
He's gonna take the pin me pay me sort of route. He'll get a IC title match and he'll win it. G-Von will become a champion, if not this year, definitely next.
He's got Kofi Kingston written on. I mean, like, he'll have a similar career to Kofi Kingston. Like, I know Kingston won the world title, but let's be honest, he was destroyed by Brock Lesnar in 7 seconds. That's how seriously they took that title reign.
Yeah.
So look, if Javon Evans becomes the world champion, that might be it for me, because I can only suspend my disbelief so much.
Yeah, he's not world title material at all.
What else did you like on the show, Al? I mean, let me read some of them. Stephanie Vacchia versus Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, that was a very run-of-the-mill kind of match.
I'm fed up of seeing my girl Roxanne Perez lose. I'm fed up of her being the jobber of the Judgment Day. When I think that she should be significantly higher up the card. I'm not saying she should be winning every match or anything like that, but it always looks like, for me, they're on the cusp of trying to do something with her and Liv Morgan, and then they just seem to drop it. I can think about 3 times over the past year and a half, ever since Roxanne Perez joined the Judgment Day, when they've hinted at this split, and then just the next week just ignored it. And it's like, I don't know, what are they waiting for?
Yeah, because she had these interactions, didn't she? Kind of words out. She had these interactions with Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
Finn Balor was telling them, this group's not good for you. And then he just goes to SmackDown, and that's it.
Yep. When she first joined the Judgment Day, she was flirting with Dominic Mysterio while Liv Morgan got injured. So the storyline was kind of writing itself. Oh, she's gonna cheat on. She's going to have a fling with Dominic Mysterio. Liv Morgan's going to come back as a babyface, and they're going to have a massive feud. Doesn't happen. Liv Morgan comes back as a heel. It's never mentioned at all. The flirting just isn't there. It just stops. No reason given. It's just stopped. So whatever they were planning to do, they just stopped because Liv got injured. Then, as you say, they've had that stuff with Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan's questioning her loyalty, and then there's not been a peep since. It's just like
spread on the carpet.
I mean, people will say, "Oh, they're planting breadcrumbs, long-term breadcrumbs." Yeah, but that's fine. But if you're going to do a long-term story like this, then they do need to pick this up now and again, not just drop it for 6 or 8 months and then do it and then just forget about it. If you want to see a proper long-term group disbanding, I'll give you an example. Evolution, Batista versus Triple H. I was never a massive fan of Batista, but I tell you what, and Triple H should know, Triple H is the main booker, right? So he witnessed this live. That was such a great constructed long-term story of Batista slowly turning babyface on Flair and Triple H. And it worked really well. It's one of the best breakup in a stable I've seen, just full stop. It was done really well. Little hints every week. They would drop small hints, and slowly they would see that Batista was slowly getting fed up with Triple H's bullshit. Bit by bit by bit by bit, he was getting more and more fed up. Bit by bit by bit. So Triple H firsthand knows how to do this. He's been in this storyline, but I just don't understand why. Again, Alan, it's more inconsistency. Why is Triple H so fucking lazy? Why is he so fucking lazy? He's got no reason to be this lazy. And I know that he's better than this, not because I'm such a big Triple H mark, but I saw his stuff in NXT. I know he's better than this. I've seen it. So, my point is, I don't know what they're doing with Roxanne Perez. I don't know what it is they're waiting for. I don't know what it is they're waiting for. And the more that she keeps losing these matches, right, the more of a jobber she's becoming. She's becoming the job girl of the Judgment Day, just like JD is the job guy of the Judgment Day, right? She's become the job girl. She's fallen below Rodriguez, because Rodriguez is obviously a champion. So she literally is the third wheel now.
That's it. Yeah, hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, I just, I know that eventually they will get to it. I'm not stupid enough to think that they won't eventually do it, because I know that they will. They might wait till maybe that could be next year's WrestleMania match. I'm not saying that they'll never do it, but they need to be careful about how much damage they're doing to her. They can't keep having her lose every single week. Because all I see, Alan, every week, I just see her. She just loses and loses. I can't remember the last time I think she might have won a match maybe 2 months ago. I think she might have won one singles match on Raw. I can't remember the last time she won a match. Other than I think she might have beaten Bailey or something on Raw a couple of months ago.
Probably Bailey on her way out.
So that's my little tirade of Roxanne Perez. Because I think she's somebody who's got a little bit of everything. I think she's a good wrestler. I find her attractive. She's a good wrestler. She's got a decent promo and character. I'm not saying that she should be given the world title. The whole thing should be built around her. I'm just saying, whilst Liv Morgan had no challenges for the last 5 months and had effort to do, right in front of you was somebody that could easily do it. Start telling the story, but they just didn't bother. Liv Morgan had effort to do for 5 months now. They get it. Explain it to me. Yeah.
That probably makes sense.
I just think that they just need to do more consistent storytelling. That's all. If you're going to do the breadcrumbs, fine, but then keep it up. Don't just do it for a month and then forget about it for 6 months. Anyway, so Becky Lynch comes out to help out Stephanie afterwards. So that is your kind of feud going forward. It's going to be probably a triple threat. I'm assuming it looks like they're going in that direction. Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch versus Stephanie Vakir. Looks like I'd imagine that probably will be the title match. How do you feel about Becky Lynch? Just all of a sudden she's a babyface, no real change in character. She just is now.
She just turns up. I mean, that was a popular thing with Big Show and Kane, wasn't it? They changed their allegiance like the wind. 1 week they're healed, the next week they're babyface with zero explanation.
I like Becky Lynch mainly because I respected her ability to want to be a heel, but that's it. As a heel, I don't think I want to see her as a babyface, especially her days of being the man character are over. Those days, unfortunately, are over. Everybody has their moments. Even the great Steve Austin, after a couple of years, started to not degrade, but even, The Rock as a babyface, they have their moments. Even bloody Hulk Hogan, probably the most popular babyface of all time, people started getting tired of his shit as well. So eventually it happened. So those days of her being the man, the big babyface, I think those days are gone. I'm not saying she can't ever be a babyface again, because obviously she currently is. But I mean, those days of her being those days of her main eventing a WrestleMania like she did against Ronda Rousey, they're gone. So those days won't be back.
Yeah, they've moved on from Becky Lynch now.
Yeah. I mean, she can have. She's decent enough in the ring. She'll probably end up losing. I doubt she'll win the belt off Liv Morgan. I think it just gives Liv Morgan something to do. Whilst if it's not going to be Roxanne Perez, maybe they'll turn Rodriguez. Maybe it'll be Rodriguez they turn. Again, it'll be one of the Judgment Day women will end up turning face, probably to fight Morgan. I would imagine at WrestleMania. Alan, are you a fan of these luchadors in this tournament? We all know that the goal is to be speared by Roman Reigns in Mexico City. That is the goal.
That's the win. That's the prize. But I will say this: the first match they had on this Raw, was in terms of this tournament was
Phoenix
Dragon Lee versus Ray Phoenix.
Yeah.
What an amazing match that was.
It was a good match. Yeah.
Amazing match. I haven't seen a match like that in a long time.
Ray Phoenix,
great moves. There was no botches at all.
Ray Phoenix, it sets up Ray Phoenix alpha against his brother Penta. That is going to be a big one.
That should be. Yeah, I'm hoping they have a good match. They should do. I mean, they don't. But they know each other really well, which obviously they should. So I'm expecting great things. It's just unfortunate that they win the booty prize. You get Spear, Roman Reigns, and pinned, which makes this whole tournament redundant.
As soon as they released the brackets for this, though, Hal, it was obvious to me, and I'm sure it was you most likely, that this is Penta ain't. If Penta doesn't win this, nobody. I don't believe anyone's got a chance anyway, because I know that Reigns ain't dropping that belt to WrestleMania. I already know that. But even if I didn't feel that way, I'd look at the lineup and I think to myself, do I actually believe, kayfabe-wise, any of these people have a chance? And the only one I would even think would remotely stand the smallest iota of a chance is Penta.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Based upon how they've treated all these guys. Was I meant to believe that Dragon Lee was going to be an issue for Roman Reigns? With all due respect.
No, unfortunately not. But Dragon Lee, he deserves a singles title, even if it's the IC championship. He deserves it, and he's been working hard for the last few years. I mean, he had a great tag team run with AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was weird because I looked at the brackets of this as well, and I saw a WWE guy versus a AAA guy.
Yeah.
It was also
WWE guys won them all. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Somehow La Parka got through, but I think he just had AAA all the way through, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who Penta's winning this out. I can't see anyone
definitely
else having a chance.
As soon as it was announced, I thought, Penta's doing it. And then I saw the brackets. Well, definitely.
It'll be a big deal because it's in Mexico, so Penta will get a hero's reaction. Reigns will probably get booed. We'll see. Fans don't really want to boo a heel anymore, it looks like. But
no.
So it'll be a hot crowd. It is going to still be a spear, but it'll be a hot crowd. So Ray Phoenix does defeat Dragon Lee in a very good match, like Al says. How did you feel about? And we kind of briefly mentioned this. It's not a match, but there was this Obafemi Bron Breakker stuff. Quickly on this, Al. Does Heyman? But Obafemi ain't turning heel. There's not. No. Despite us, kind of a couple of months ago, Alan, we thought Heyman with Obafemi would be an interesting storyline if they turned over heel and they literally went all in with this whole next big thing, Brock Lesnar Mark II. But he's not going to be a heel. So.
No, and you can't see Heyman turning face. I can't remember a time when Heyman was ever face. He's always been a heel, hasn't he, Heyman?
The only time he was a face was a little bit during the whole two Bloodline versus Bloodline storyline when they kind of.
I suppose, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was kind of a face then for a little while, yeah. But yeah, you're right. Heyman's one of the best, if not the best, at getting heat. There's not many better promo guys than him at getting heat currently around. So I can't see him joining up with Oba. I can see him going back to Bron Breakker and officially doing it a one-on-one with Bron Breakker. So getting rid of the whole Austin Theory, Maxine Dupree. They can just go off and do their Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, because obviously they've still got Logan Paul when he comes back. Bronson Reed should be coming back. And I saw a picture of Bronson Reed actually recently. Yeah, he's no more tsunamis, unfortunately, for everybody.
I think that what I would do, I would have Bronson Reed come back and I would put him with Breakker again and I would just keep it those two. Because when Heyman was managing just those two, before Austin Theory got involved, before Logan Paul, even after Rollins got injured, I thought that Heyman with just those two, I thought was good. I thought to myself, you know what? Two young guys, two guys who are quite strong monsters. I'm not saying both. I mean, I do think Breakker's going to be a world champion. I think Bronson Reed's going to be a tougher ask for him because I don't think he's got the promo and everything. But you never know. It's not an impossible thing. But I thought to myself, those two guys are two guys who Heyman could easily mold and actually properly do something with. So I still think that if they maybe I'm fantasy booking here, Al. I'm thinking, would they have Obafemi lose again if Bronson Reed cost him the match? And if they put Reed, Breaker, and Heyman back together, not as the Vision, but just get rid of the whole Vision stuff, but separately.
It would make sense. It would make sense to do it that way. You know,
they're going to have Oba lose again.
Bron Breakker doesn't need Division. You know, he needs Paul Heyman. I think. I mean, Bron Breakker's promo skills is not bad. Let's be honest. He's not bad. He's not a bad promo guy. But with Heyman, it adds the extra spice to him. As you said, Heyman's great at getting heat. He can build people up really, really well. I like it. I think it's a great idea. I think it's the scenario that makes the most sense. Because Bronson Reed is on the way back. And what better way to bring him back than him to cost Obafemi a match against Bron Breakker?
Yeah, I think.
And hopefully they do it at a proper PLE event, not Sunday night's main event or whenever it's going to be.
My fear is, Alan, is that Oba just beats him and that's it. Because I can see them just doing that. I can see Obafemi just
Obafemi can probably get there. Yeah, if it's Sunday night's main event, yeah, sure. Yeah, Obafemi can hit him with was it Fall from Grace or whatever it's called, and pin him, and then they have another match, and that's when Bron Breakker comes more prepared and has Bronson Reed and waiting in the wings.
Well, I mean, I do think there is a chance that this match ends up main eventing at WrestleMania one day. For me, you know that I'm very, very far from being sold on Obafemi. I'm much more sold on Bron Breakker. I'm not saying Bron Breakker is the perfect wrestler. He's not. He's still got a lot of improvement that Bron Breakker could make. But I do think he's much further along than I think Obafemi is. So, but I can see maybe 5 years down the line. I mean, they're going to put the belt on Obafemi next year, no matter what, I think. So Obafemi will certainly be a world champion by 5 years in the future. So whether or not Breakker also makes it, I don't know. They need to give him some wins. That's why I think this feud was a bad choice. Personally, I thought it was a bad choice. But I'm not saying the feud itself is bad. The timing of the feud is wrong. Bron Breakker needed to be rebuilt because he's had a terrible 2026. He needed to be rebuilt, and he needed to feud with somebody who he could dominate and beat. Right, and rebuild him. Not against someone else they're also trying to protect. He needed to feud with somebody they weren't trying to protect. Obafemi, they're trying to protect even more than Bron Breakker. So this is why I think this feud is a bad idea. It's not a bad idea for Obafemi because Obafemi's going to win it. It'll be fine. But I think it's a bad idea for Bron Breakker. But there we are. What else have we got? Oh yeah, so Big Cass defeated Javon Evans. Kind of spoke about this. How are you feeling about Big Cass? Obviously, as we said, he didn't come back as his old. You can't teach that character, 7 foot tall character.
That's right.
Still not convinced about his promo. He's obviously got the size and the look. He's in better shape than he was before. He gives
you Rusev vibes. You know, Rusev came back and he said, "I'm here to redeem myself" and that kind of stuff. And I'm getting the same sort of vibes from Cass.
Yeah,
in this.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
but he's beating Javon Evans, so that's good. The youngin is getting beaten, so yeah, see you later, youngin.
Speaking of a guy, somebody who I think would make a good Heyman guy, I think Big Cass would be great as it as well.
Yeah, I think he could very well benefit from someone like from Heyman.
Yeah.
So Heyman's missing is he needs another monster.
Yeah, I imagine a stable Heyman, a stable of Breakker, Big Kaz, and Bronson Reed. That would be 3 monsters stable. That would be something impressive. No offense, Austin. No offense, Austin Theory. I like Logan Paul. I just don't think Logan Paul never needed a faction. Logan Paul didn't need a faction. He was fine as he was. So what else have we got here? The other tournament match was as you said, La Parka was in it, but not anymore. He fell obviously to Penta. What did you think of this match, Al?
Not as good as a Ray Phoenix Dragon Lee match.
No,
it ran 5 minutes under because I think Dragon Lee match was about 13-15 minutes. I think the La Parka match was about 8-9 minutes or so. it didn't flow as well, I think. Whereas Dragon Lee and Rey Fenix were really just sprinting around the ring for the full length of the match. The Penta La Parka match was actually a little more slow paced, which is fine, But I enjoyed the Dragon Lee match more.
It's always weird when I see La Parka, because obviously my La Parka isn't the La Parka. My memories of La Parka was when he was called the chairman of WCW, and he was called that because he always used to hit people with steel chairs, and he had this wacky charisma about him as well. He's one of the few luchadors, because in WCW hours, I'm sure you remember, in like the mid-90s, WCW was flooded with so many luchadors in their cruiserweight division, and most of these guys are really good wrestlers. I'm not taking anything of their wrestling ability; they're all really good cruiserweights, the majority of them. But the problem is, the majority of them didn't have any charisma. Very few of them have had any character or any charisma. But La Parka did. He's got this weird skeleton suit, which he is still using. Yes, it's the same suit, but it's not the same wrestler. It's the same suit.
It's the third iteration.
Apparently. Yeah. But he was so damn charismatic. Alan, I remember playing NWO WCW Revenge, playing as La Parka.
In N64, yeah, I remember that.
And I'd always used to get a chair whenever I could, because that was the character. Because he's, and he did this little dance. If people are really bored, have a Google on YouTube and just put in La Parka dance WCW, and you'll see what I mean. So I've got nostalgic memories of a much younger version of me being perversely entertained by La Parka, and thinking why all the other luchadors were not as entertaining as him. That was during the whole period of Rey Mysterio. As I said, I'm not talking about the wrestling ability. I'm talking about the charisma. Rey Mysterio Jr. was light years ahead of pretty much everybody in WCW.
Yeah.
At least the luchadors. The only person who could keep up with Rey Mysterio was like a Dean Malenko or a Benoit, if I'm even allowed to say his name. But those are the only ones who even could stand up to be counted with him. So the main event, Al, it is more bloodline bullshit. The Usos versus
who are heels, by the way.
Yeah, and this is, and we'll have a little talk about what I did read the other day, which I find very interesting. So the Bloodline, Jimmy and Jay, obviously Roman Reigns too important to be there this week, of course. Jimmy and Jay versus Solo Sikoa and LA Knight ends up in no contest, because surprisingly, and I don't think anyone particularly called this one, Royce Keys has come back as a heel, I think.
Yep.
With a team that I've barely heard of, but I've found out were some blokes from NXT called OTM. Tell me about OTM, Alan. Do you know anything about OTM?
Other than the fact people were annoyed that they weren't included in the 2K26 video game, I know nothing about them.
Right, so me and Alan don't know that much about this OTM.
That's when I first heard about them. People were saying, "Oh, where's ODM in the DLC? Where's ODM on the main game?" And I thought, "Who the hell are ODM?"
I don't know. So this is interesting for me and Alan. So I'll be interested to see what exactly they bring. It is nice to see a proper tag team. There's not many around, so let's see if they are actually.
I mean, they're two big guys. I mean, they're about 6'3" each. Probably weigh between 280, 300 pounds apiece. So yeah, we'll see what they can do. But obviously, they attacked everybody. They attacked the Bloodline. They attacked Knight and Sikoa.
Yeah, so that's why they came across as heelish to me. Had they only attacked the Bloodline, I don't think they would have been heels. But obviously, because it was a Bloodline who was Jacob Fatu, who obviously injured Hobbs, Royce Keys. So it would make sense to get revenge. But no, he ended up attacking his the guys he teamed with only a couple of weeks ago at SummerSlam. He's ended up attacking Solo Sikoa and LA Knight as well, which does make him appear heelish to me, because obviously they didn't do anything to him. So interesting that it looks like they're turning Keys heel. What I find interesting is that if it is a new stable, which it looks like it is, I never saw, as I know him, Powerhouse Hobbs as the leader. I think he's the bruiser of the group. He's not the leader of the group. Yeah. So whether or not they add somebody else, but it looks like he is obviously the leader. And I don't know how. I'm thinking longer term. I don't see him in that role. But it looks like that he is going to be the leader of this group.
Unless I remember the stable he was in AEW.
He was in a couple of them, I think. Was Hobbs?
He was always like the muscle, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was he like teamed up with Ricky Saints?
Yes. Yeah.
Ricky Starks, at the time.
Ricky Starks, yeah.
Yeah. He was in the same stable as Ricky Starks.
Yeah. He also seems to be. Alan seems to be on Raw. He's just on Raw now, by the way. He used to be on SmackDown. He's just on
SmackDown about a month ago. He was on SmackDown now. All of a sudden, he appears at SummerSlam and he's on Raw again.
So Solo Sikoa was on SmackDown, and now he's not on SmackDown anymore. He's just on Raw.
Yeah.
Star. Brand split be damned. So I'm intrigued to see. I'm intrigued to see what this ATM is all about. I don't hate Hobbs. I'm going to call him Hobbs for argument's sake. I don't hate Hobbs. I think that he's green. He's still green. He's got a good look. Obviously, he looks like a killer. But I still think he's got a long way to go on the whole promo performance aspect. I would have given him. I still think Alan. I'm dreaming about a Cody Rhodes, Ricky Saints, Royce Keys stable. I'm gonna dream about that probably until one of them retires. I just think that if we were doing our story designer, Al,
yep,
I'll tell you right now, those three would be a faction for my story designer. 100%, 100%. Because they've got exactly the roles you need. You need the figurehead world champion, like the Four Horsemen, right? Which is Cody Rhodes. You've got the young kind of smaller guy, more technician guy, Ricky Saints. And then you've got the big badass motherfucker, like Sid used to be or Barry Windham used to be in the Horsemen. You got Hobbs. They could add somebody else as well. But those three in particular would be 100% if I was going to create a new faction like that. So it's interesting for me to see Hobbs as the leader of the group rather than just a member. That's an interesting decision, I think.
Okay, yeah, as I say, and this OTM, I've just looked them up. Apparently, they're fairly new. They only debuted 4 years ago.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. Intrigued. I mean, they are at least doing something with Royce Keys. So they haven't done much of him really since he debuted. So at least they are trying to give him something to do at least. So I'm not going to complain about that. I do think he's still got a lot of potential, even though he's not as young as I think people thought he was. So it's going to be one of those things where he's a bit like LA Knight. I think. It's like people are like, oh wait, this dude's 40. Yeah, he is. He's not in his late 20s. He doesn't look 40 to be fair to him, but people were surprised. Actually, no, he's not. He's actually quite old, and WWE do care about that. They claim that they don't, but they do. It's one of the reasons why I think LA Knight, they'll never go the full way, because they won't want to invest something in a guy who's near the end of his career. So, any thoughts, Alan, on the Solo Sikoa stuff? We can briefly talk about it before I do my little Roman Reigns thing I want to talk about.
I don't know what they're doing with it. This whole pew thing, I just I don't know.
But he is now 100% a babyface, because we weren't sure 100%. A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, 100% babyface. I mean, he's funny. He's a funny guy.
They did the whole Sami Zayn Kevin Owens ripoff, which is how I saw it. Sorry, where they got Solo Sikoa to try and spike LA Knight, which was nowhere near as emotional as Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, because the Sami Zayn storyline had been brewing for like 6 months, and obviously everyone knows the long-term history of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at the time. With all due respect, LA Knight and Solo Sikoa have been friends for 3 weeks? Let's be honest.
Very much. Yep.
So it can't have the same kind of dramatic appeal. So if they were going for that last week, if that's what they were going for, then it failed. I quite enjoyed the segment overall, because it was good to see Solo get the big pop, which he did. And it was good to see the fans actually for once booing Roman, which I'll talk about in a sec. They actually did boo them for once in that segment, and cheered on Solo Sikoa and LA Knight. But people are saying, oh, it's like one of the best bloodline segments all year. Yes, you're right. That should tell you how bad it's been this time round. If that's the best one they've done, that should tell you how bad it has been since WrestleMania. Since this new bloodline. It's the same bloody bloodline, just now we're baby faces, but we're not. So that says a lot to me, that everyone's harping at how this was the best bloodline segment in years. It's like, yeah, well, they haven't been around in a couple of years, and that's how bad this year has been for them. That's not a high bar. But I like Solo as well. He's got a little cheeky grin, which is hard to explain. It reminds me a little bit of the cheeky grin that Austin had a little bit. Not many wrestlers actually have this little kind of cheeky grin behind the scene. It's hard to explain what I mean by that. You know what I mean, I think, Alan, when I say this.
Yeah.
It's something you can't teach. It's a little bit of an innate charisma that can't really be taught. And that's why Solo, I think, could end up doing okay for himself. I don't think he's going to be like a main eventer particularly, but he's got that you can't teach. So The Rock had that as well. Not many have it. But this innate charisma that let's put it this way: Roman Reigns wishes upon a star he had that innate charisma that Solo Sikoa has. And I bet you backstage, Triple H and all the suits wish Roman Reigns had that. If so, they wouldn't have to put every single trick under the book to try and get this bum over. Yeah, I said it, like they always have done, because they have to use every trick under the book to get Roman Reigns over. Because Roman Reigns can't get over by himself because he hasn't got it. It's funny that Solo Sikoa has. I find that very entertaining, personally. Shall I do you want to hear my little rant then on Roman Reigns?
Go on then.
It came out last week officially that they have finally. This is what the dirt sheets were saying, that internally, right? They have finally now realized that the bloodline, in particular Roman Reigns, is a heel. So they actually have him listed internally. So backstage, they had now decided to finally view him. Only took them 6 months as a heel.
Fuck's sake.
Exactly. So as soon as he came back, he was a heel.
He never stopped being a heel.
No, he never stopped.
No. So that's probably why you got the segment last week with Solo Sikoa, where Reigns was coming off even more heelish, because they finally decided, oh yeah, the bloodline of heels, especially Roman Reigns, especially the guy who's kind of giving orders and telling people they serve him and stuff. Yeah, that's actually heel. You do realize that's actually bad guy tendencies, right? When you start demanding people serve you and stuff, that's actually not a babyface thing to do. Glad they caught up. It only took them 6 months. So there you go, Al. So they now have realized apparently that Roman Reigns actually is a heel. Do you think the fans are going to catch on? I mean, they kind of caught on in that segment last week. He obviously wasn't on this week, so we don't know. But do you think when Reigns comes back, is it next week? I think he's going to be back.
So no, they're giving signs. I mean, the Usos were dressed in black. The Ulafalas, they're wearing a black. They're now referred to as the lieutenants of the bloodline. That's a mafia thing.
Yeah,
the Mafias aren't good guys, though. I mean, the Mafia thought they were good guys internally, but externally they're bad guys.
Who knew, Al, that Roman Reigns was a heel all along? Who was saying it? Oh, right, that's right. We were saying that he's a heel.
Yeah. The evidence was in your face every single week. He would sharpen his little car. He would get out of the back seat because he'd be chauffeured there. As soon as he walks in, his hand goes out. Someone gives him the title the title that he should be carrying around himself, not asked for some guy to hand it over to him.
Lucky, yeah.
And he just looks down on everybody, surrounded by the family, gets them to do his dirty work for him. That's exactly. It's crystal clear. He's a heel. He's always been a heel. He's never been a face. Just because the fans chant OTC at him doesn't mean anything. Even when the fans were singing on to Sevron's stupid song, he was a heel at the time.
Exactly. So that's why you should listen to the fans. Take what the fans do with a grain of salt. I'm not saying you never listen to them. I'm just saying just take it with a grain of salt, because the fans nowadays, and yeah, I am going to have another crack at the fans because I can. The fans nowadays don't really know what they want. They're literally bipolar almost. Sorry, I'm not making fun of that. They're schizophrenic almost. They don't seem to have. They just seem to cheer everything. Like I just don't think fans know what they want, and I think it makes it really difficult sometimes when it's obvious what a character is meant to be, and the fans just
Well, that's the modern mentality, isn't it?
Everybody's got to sing the songs. If they're a face or a heel, they've still got to sing the songs. They tried to turn Randy Orton heel earlier in the year. The fans didn't. Randy Orton was blatantly a heel. He literally attacked and cheap shotted the babyface. He did all these horrible things to him. The fans still didn't boo him.
Yeah, stupid, isn't it?
They had to get Pat McAfee involved before fans even started, and even then they weren't particularly booing Orton. They were booing Pat McAfee. They weren't actually booing Randy Orton. Why do you think Alan? Why do you think they had Orton RKO him?
Exactly, to a cheer, by the way.
To a cheer. So Pat McAfee was the only time the fans have actually reacted correctly to a heel.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I think what the core problem is what I touched on was modern mentality. When they're writing these characters for these wrestlers, they're making them 2-3-dimensional. I'm not saying they should just be clear black and white, but I think that they're putting too much into their characters, which confuses people. But back in the day when you had like the $1 Million Man, one of the best wrestlers of all time, best character in wrestling of all time,
a heel in every sense of the word, with zero redeeming qualities.
Exactly.
No redeeming qualities.
Yep. Never turned face. At least in WWE, anyway. He was never faced in WWE.
He briefly was a babyface in WCW when he managed the Steiners after the NWO turned on him. A very small period of time out as a manager. And you know what? It failed. Do you want to know why? Because it's Ted DiBiase. He's not meant to have redeeming qualities. People didn't want to see him as a babyface.
Exactly. And this is the problem with today's product. Everyone can be redeemed in some way. They're giving the characters some form of redemption within their characters. That's why the fans don't understand when to boo, when to cheer.
You know what?
And the songs don't help. And the songs don't help either, because obviously they're singing along to Seth Rollins' song. They're singing along to Ethan Page's song, which he doesn't like, by the way. He's a heel, so he's allowed to say that. So he gets it.
You know what I think, Alan, mate? Honestly, one of the things is I've thought this for a while, and maybe it is a sign of the times, because everyone's so scared now, because everything's gone so PC police, everything's so PC. The bad guys on films, it's slightly different. On films, they can get away with a bit more, but even on films, sometimes I think they don't go far enough. I'm telling you right now, there needs to be more villain. I can't even say it. There needs to be more acts of evilness in wrestling, and I actually mean overall. I mean despicable characters, not as Al's just said, not characters who can be redeemed 6 months from now. I want an evil son of a bitch who enjoys hurting people because he can.
Yep.
Because he enjoys it. I want somebody who doesn't mind if he slaps a woman. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that's, I'm saying what evil, this is why people are going to be against it, because you're not meant to do it. I want evil monsters who do evil things because they can. That's what makes them evil. I don't want somebody, because they can. So you look at the roster, Alan, and you tell me who is the most evil that you perceive as evil character. I actually am curious to see if there's somebody who even comes close. In WWF TV, who is the most evil character you think they have? Evil.
Gunther.
I think that's a good shout.
Yeah, closest. No one comes close, I don't think, to that. Gunther is the only one who marginally ticks those boxes. I mean, previous to that, the only person I could have thought who came close to that was when Bray Wyatt was playing the Fiend.
Mm. Yes,
that was a character with zero redemption. He was out to hurt, and he had the split personality thing going. That was the closest we had to an unredeemable character. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt.
And they say, Alan, and you need this in all good stories, not just films, books, video games, whatever your media is. The protagonist is normally only as good as the villain he's facing.
Yep.
And there is a massive lack of proper villainy in wrestling. not just WWE. I can look at AEW and think similar as well. That's why MJF is one of the best, because he actually is a douchebag. And when they tried to make him a babyface a couple of years ago, I despised it. He didn't last long. He went back being a heel. But even him, they tried to make him, because the fans liked him so much because he's so entertaining, which I get can be a problem if the character's so entertaining. But MJF is a great heel because he's a douchebag. I wouldn't say he's evil. I wouldn't say that Max is the most evil character either. But he is a great douchebag, and he does embrace that villainous stuff a lot more. I just think, especially in the WWE, as Al's just said, I think Gunter is the closest one. When I look at the character and I think, well, what's redeemable about this? What's redeemable about Gunter?
No, there's not. And I say he's one of those guys who's not really ever turned face.
No,
he's always been a heel. He's always been hovering around the title match. He always feels entitled. He's not afraid to put his hands on whoever.
And he's a bully. Yep. He's a bully. He enjoys hurting people. Yep. He knows he's one of the best wrestlers, and he knows he's generally better than everyone else. And he acts like that, and he knows that he is, which adds to it even more. Because if you know you're the best, and you know that you're more talented, then that becomes another thing. Because he bullies people because he knows he's better than them. He did it to Nick Aldis. He bullied Nick Aldis. Obviously, he retired senior in AJ and stuff like that. So he is the closest thing that they have got to a proper heel.
Yeah, even by his own words, he says, "I'm going to maul you. I'm going to bully you." He said that countless times to people.
There's so few of them left now.
Yeah,
and I think it is
like the managers. It's a lost art.
It really is.
They need a villain in wrestling. WWE needs a villain. They need to go back, look at the old tapes, go back in history, go back to looking at the Fiend Bray Wyatt, go back to look at Ted DiBiase. Yeah. Those are the guys who would draw so much heat from the fans.
That's it. Nobody. That's a good word. Jim Cornette would love that word. No heels draw heat anymore. There's no heat. The fans are too busy having a good time singing songs.
Yeah,
or doing catchphrases. There's no heat. There's no proper heat anymore. Nobody's got any heat. Gunter's the only one who's got even the semblance of it. Nobody's got any heat anymore.
Yeah, even Dominic Mysterio's lost his heat.
Well, that's because he's done fuck all this year. He's just lost. He lost to Danhausen, Alan.
True. And I think he's going to be losing to El Grande Americano next month.
Yeah, he's dropping a belt to him probably. I agree. So, that's it. Maybe that's a show we should do in the future, because obviously, we'll wrap up in a sec, about the art of being a heel, how it's more or less been lost. And is it the fact that the wrestlers just don't know how to do it, or is it the fact that they're being told, oh, because we live in a PC world now, you can't do this. You can't be too sexist. You certainly can't be racist. You can't be sexist. You can't be elitist like DiBiase, right? DiBiase was Ted DiBiase, Alan. You know this is true. Closet racist. Never came out and says it. But who was his butler? Was it Virgil. A white man? It was a black man.
Yeah, Virgil.
Right. So
which brings me to, sorry, because obviously you announced me as the Weasel. Yeah, so there's a great phrase from Bobby the Brain Heenan on Virgil. He goes, "You win some, you lose some. Unless you're Virgil, you will lose them all." Sorry, continue.
No, I'm just saying that DiBiase, a closet racist. There was some elements of it. He never came out and says it, because you don't have to come out always and just say it. You can insinuate certain things without even saying them. You can do that. It's, he bought women. He bought Sapphire, another black person, by the way, for the record. He bought her. He bought Sherry when Sherry was like his valet. So he's kind of a bit of a misogynist as well. So DiBiase had all those kind of negative traits. And my point is that I think they're too scared to actually have somebody even hint of having those traits. So my problem is, Al, that if you're not going to have a proper villains who are going to do these things that we all know are wrong, you're never going to get heat. They've got to have some of these characters do certain things. They've got to cross the line a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to have some dude bloody raping a woman or something silly like that. No, of course not.
Hack someone to pieces.
Yeah, exactly. But you can have stuff.
But saying in order to do that, they have to do these heinous acts on TV. They also have to basically call the fans shit. You have to make the fans hate you, because these days the fans don't hate anybody. They're too busy singing songs and following on with the chants. What? But that's your fan base. They would have to attack the fans personally, attack them.
I can't remember the last time that I saw heat being generated that made me think that somebody was going to run into the ring. Do you remember when Hogan turned heel in '96? Do you remember the amount of trash? Do you remember the amount of trash? Do you remember the amount of trash it was thrown in the ring?
Yeah. The Outsiders versus Randy Savage,
Sting, and Luger. Yeah.
That's it.
And the amount of that wasn't planned. It's not like they went into the crowd and planted a bunch of rubbish for all the fans to throw in. That was legit. And Kevin Nash recently spoke about this when they did the tributes, because the NWO was like 25 years or something, or like 30 years. Yeah, it was like 30-year anniversary of the NWO being born. Nash talked about this on his podcast, and he was talking about if you go back and look, somebody throws this massive drink in Nash's face during when Hogan's doing his promo. This massive drink. So go rewatch that. You'll see this massive drink hit Nash in the face, and Nash was so fucking furious. He said I wanted to go outside and literally find that fan and beat the absolute shit out of him, because apparently it really hurt him, because the drink hit him. It was the proper drink hit him right in the face. Ooh. But he also was just like, that's how much they hated us. That shit happened.
There you go. Proper heels.
When's the last time that anyone even came close to having any kind of heat like that?
That's the most volatile I've seen a crowd. Yep. Apart from when Cena made his entrance at ECW one night stand.
Yeah, that was volatile.
Yeah, as a volatile crowd. But again, he was against an ECW original and an RVD. So what'd you expect?
And just for the record, we are gonna head off in a sec. Just the record. I'm not, and I'm sure Alan, we're not saying that in order to be a good heel, you need to have people throwing stuff at you. I'm not saying that they've got to do that, right? I'm saying is that it's gone back so much. I'm not saying you have to go to that levels every week. I'm just saying there's so much more boundaries they could push than they do, to where you could get a proper character hated. I'm not saying people have to throw stuff at them every week. I'm not endorsing that, right? Because people could throw some horrible shit. We've seen what happens in football matches, right? People could throw coins and shit, right? I get it. But still, there's so much more they could do than they currently do to get a proper character hated. And until they get proper characters hated, then the baby face is always going to be a bit limp, because they've got no real villains to go up against. That's why you see so many babyface versus babyface matches. Punk versus Cody, Punk versus Roman, even though Roman's a heel, but at the time it was babyface versus babyface. Punk versus Kevin Owens. All these babyface versus baby. Yes, the babyfaces don't like each other, but they're still babyface characters, because they've got no heels. Because nobody gets any heat anymore. Until they change that, I think it's always going to be a bit lacking. I want a proper villain, Alan.
Yeah,
I want a proper villain.
It's the fans. They're not allowing villainy to be created. We got Randy Orton. He's always been a despicable kind of a character, but everyone just loves it when he RKO's people.
Yeah, they cheer him.
Yeah, so he's kind of a tweener.
Yeah,
I remember when Randy Orton was like grabbing Jeff Hardy and sticking a screwdriver in his ear and then twisting his earlobe.
Hell yeah, I remember that. That was nasty. That was brutal.
Yeah.
Orton can be a heel. Orton used to do really dastardly things. Unfortunately for Orton, he's become too cool. He's got that. Once you become a cool heel like the NWA were, right? Once you get to a certain coolness, it does become more difficult. And I think there's nothing Orton can really do about that. It's a shame, because I think Orton could do Orton's character's done despicable things in the past, but I do think the fans think he's a bit too cool. So I actually think it's always going to be a bit difficult from this point for Orton to get proper heat. But then you find someone else who isn't cool, and is just an evil son of a bitch who isn't cool. Just an evil son of a bitch.
That's what you need.
You want to know who the closest is, Alan? Paul Heyman. No. Paul Heyman doesn't have many good. Paul Heyman's got very little positive features about him.
True. Yeah, it's very true.
Not very. Paul Heyman's not a very redeemable person, is he? There's not much that you can. You know. So Heyman's got a bit of that, but he's a manager. He's not. There's only so much he can do. That's why you got to put some heels with him to see if he can get the fans to hate his clients as much as they hate him. But anyway, I think we've rabbited on for enough. But yeah, so get more villainy in wrestling, more heels, more proper heels. I want to see heels doing bad shit. I want to see them being horrible. I want to see them bullying people. I want to see them being covert racist, covert sexist. All these things you're not meant to do. I want to see them all being. They haven't got to blatantly come out and say it. I understand TV. I'm not an idiot, but you can hint at stuff without actually saying it. You know?
Yeah, very much so.
We need proper villains. Nation of Domination, right? What do you think? They were a black militant group.
Yeah, so they were like the original BLM, weren't they?
Yeah. They never actually came out and said white people suck and stuff like that. At least I don't remember them. Maybe if they did, I don't remember them coming out and literally
never did
slagging
that,
off white people.
But
we all know what they were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which was fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, they feuded with DX, Alan, who was a bunch of white guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, who then in turn made some very
yeah, some of their comments back was yeah.
Especially when you've got X-Pac dressing up, blacking up as Mizark Henry.
Yeah. I mean, it was a different. I do understand it's a different time, right? I do get it. It's not lost on me that I do realize it's 2026, but that still doesn't change the fact that they could push the envelope a hell of a lot more than they do, just to get some real characters hated, and they don't. It's the pussification. Sorry, that's the word it's the pussification of people today, and wrestling suffering because of it, because there's nobody properly to hate anymore, and that's a problem. If you're trying to tell a story, you've got weak villains, so your baby face is going to be weak because the villains are not evil enough. As Alan said perfectly, everybody's got to be shades of grey now. Everyone's got to be shades of grey.
Yeah. There has to be a clear cut villain, you know.
In wrestling,
no grey areas.
In wrestling, there does. In wrestling, there really does need to be. It's just some characters just need to be irredeemable. So there we are. Thank you again, Al, for joining me this week. Hope you enjoyed the show with Raw and Smackdown. We are planning to try to do these every week. You know, we couldn't do it in the last couple of weeks because Alan was away, unfortunately. Hopefully, Com or Kev will still be joining us once they get some free time at work. We might have to think about moving the show to another night if that helps, but we'll see to get them more available. But yeah, I'm going to thank you again, Alan, for joining me. Alan the Weasel Heenan.
Pleasure.
And I am Tequila the Bobby Ventura. Humanoids. Go on, Alan, do the Bobby Heenan. Humanoids, ham and eggers.
Yeah, humanoids, ham and eggers. Hey, stupid, give me something to drink.
In case you're wondering, go watch Heenan's commentary at the 1992 Royal Rumble. So
yeah, that's not fair to say.
Amazing. Probably the best. I mean, I'm always a bit of a Jesse the Body guy. I think that he probably is my favorite still. But that hour that Heenan's got, because Flair's in the whole match, of course, in '92, is literally Heenan just losing his shit the whole hour. It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
It's amazing. But yeah, thanks again, Al. Thanks for joining me, everybody. And yeah, we'll see you again next time. Remember to like, subscribe, and what a maneuver!
Yeah.
Where's your lexicon?
God.
Take care of this.